Have you ever noticed that before, that there are certain languages that everyone wants to learn them, but there are also languages that barely someone wants to learn them? So I decided to, in this video, I'm going to talk about those languages that I think they're really underrated, and they're pretty beautiful and they have a really amazing history, but they're underrated and not so many people are learning those languages. So for a start, I want to start with the languages that are within the border of Pakistan and India. So I know it's a bit strange, but there's so many different languages in this area, but the languages that does have pretty decent numbers of native speakers is Punjabi, or like Urdu, and Hindi, of course. If you don't know, the number of Punjabi native speakers is about between 88 until like 150 million speakers. So it's a decent number actually. If you want to like talk about that, it can be the 10th most spoken language in the world. And Urdu, which does have similarities with Punjabi, also has 66 million native speakers. These are all pretty decent numbers. And also Hindi does have so many native speakers. And all of these languages, they're pretty beautiful. They have a long history, they have a pretty beautiful sound, but no one is learning them. Why? So the next language I want to talk about is Indonesian, or Bahasa Indonesia, which is the official language of Indonesia, of course, and it's the 4th largest country by population in the world, making Indonesian the 14th most spoken language in the world, which there's so many native speakers. And I've talked about Indonesian before on my YouTube channel. You know, when we are talking about Indonesian, many people don't really know anything about, which is sad because I think Indonesian is a really beautiful language. So the large population of Indonesia would allows you to find so many native speakers to practice with, to talk with, and so if you are still looking for a reason to learn Indonesian, is that Indonesian is quite close and similar to Malay, which is the language of Malaysia. So if you learn Indonesian, there is a pretty decent chance that you would pretty understand Malay. You know, not 100%, but you would understand a part of that. So that would also allow you to talk with many other people. And furthermore, I think Indonesian is relatively easy. Indonesian does have a pretty really easy grammar, and it's really, handy to memorize it. And the structure of sentence is very similar to English, and it's even really simpler than English. So if you learn Indonesian, you would like gain a lot of things. So, Slavic languages are barely studied even. So of course, many people want to learn Russian, but there are other languages in the Slavic language group that I think they are really underrated, even if they are pretty beautiful. And no, they are not the same, they are different. All of them are different, they are different languages. First, I want to start with Ukrainian, because I think this language is pretty beautiful. I think Ukrainian is a beautiful language, but not so many people are learning that, and it's so underrated. But other than Ukrainian, we have many other languages. We even have Bulgarian and Macedonian, which they are the only Slavic languages that do not have cases. So cases is really popular in Slavic languages. All of them have cases, and Bulgarian and Macedonian are the only languages that they do not have cases, which means the words won't change in order to their place in the sentence, which I think makes them much easier. And there is Serbian, Croatian, which they're pretty similar, but I was looking to learn Serbian in the summer, and I noticed that, oh my god, there are not so many people learning this language. And the thing about Serbian language is that they use two alphabets. They use Latin alphabet and Cyrillic alphabet. So if you don't want to like start with learning Cyrillic alphabet, if it seems too hard, well, you can start with learning the Latin alphabet and then like start learning the Cyrillic alphabet, which I think it makes Serbian really easy. And also, like if you start learning Serbian, the other languages of that area would be really easy to understand. So for next, I think I need to talk about a group of languages, because I think pretty all of these languages in this group is pretty underrated, even if they have a really good history and they are beautiful. And that is North Germanic languages, so which mainly include Danish, Norwegian, Swedish, Faroese, and Icelandic. So you would find so many people that they want to learn German, but there are other Germanic languages that, well, they are close to German relatively, because they are in the same family group of languages. And well, Danish, Norwegian, Swedish, Norwegian, Icelandic, all of those languages are from North Germanic languages. And if you look, you won't find like so many people who are learning these languages as much as so many people are learning these languages. And next, I want to talk about Arabic. So I know that Arabic isn't that underrated as like other languages that I talk about, but I think it's still really underrated because it's still pretty hard to find many resources for that. It's not like you would find people who are learning Arabic because of its unique alphabet. So the interesting thing about Arabic is that Arabic is spoken by over 370 million people, which is a lot, and there are so many countries who people there speak Arabic. There are so many different dialects, which all of them are different. It's not like you can learn one dialect and you understand it. And the interesting thing about Arabic is that every dialect is different. Of course, it's hard, but it's a really interesting thing, and it depends on the area they are, it depends on their culture, and each Arab country does have a different culture, a different type of foods, and so many different things. And basically, if you like learn Arabic, you would be able to talk to many people from Middle East, from North Africa, and it will help you to like see so many different cultures, so many different things, and I think it's pretty beautiful. So I have 4 languages left, and all of those are within the Middle East, because I think we are pretty underrated in any way. But I want to start with Persian, which is my native language, my dear language. So for many people would think like Persian is Arabic, there is no difference between them, or like Persian is a dialect of Arabic. Well, it's not. I actually haven't talked about Persian language and the history of that in one of my videos again. But I think Persian is also underrated. Like, I'm not saying that because this is my new language, but because I know it, and I know it can be really beautiful if you like start getting to it. Whenever I hear someone is learning Persian, I am like, oh my god, I can't believe it. It's the happiest day of my life. So it's not like I see a person who wants to learn Persian every day. So I think Persian is underrated because we have a decent literature, we have a lot of beautiful things in our language. So now I told you we're gonna stay Middle East because our language is pretty underrated. So the fact, I think the next language can be Armenian. Armenian is beautiful, but the alphabet itself is hard. But really, Armenian is really underrated. Even I can say it's even more underrated of all of the languages that I've talked about it so far. It's even, I think, more underrated than Persian. And that is sad because I think if a person wants to like make a challenge for himself or herself, I can learn Armenian, and it's pretty beautiful. If you look at the history of Armenia, if you look at the history of this language, which even back to 400 AD, and there are so many things about the history, there are so many things about the Armenia itself that makes this language a really masterpiece. We talked about Armenian language. I also think we can talk about like Georgian language, the language people speak in the country of Georgia. So I think Georgian is also as underrated as Armenian. But if no one is learning this language that does have pretty beautiful country, pretty beautiful culture, pretty beautiful and nice people. So the next language is Hebrew. I think Hebrew is also really underrated. Months ago I was trying to learn the alphabet of Hebrew just to see how it goes, and it's not easy. Hebrew and Arabic, they both are in the same group of languages. They're Semitic language, and even if the alphabet, the sound, and like many of things are different or like don't have like 100% similarities, they are both from the same group of languages, which is Semitic languages, which makes them similar. Also, Hebrew is pretty ancient, so like Hebrew was also spoken as a like regular spoken language sometime between 200 and 400 CE. So I think that's it. Well, there are so many underrated languages, but it's impossible to like make it into one video. So if you like this video, I would be so grateful if you like this video, and if you want, you can check my YouTube channel, and if you would like again, you can subscribe to my channel. That would be pretty helpful to me. And thank you for watching this video, and until the next video, bye.